You knew something was wrong, not just now, not just at the end. You felt it long before things got this far. And still, you stayed. And that's the part that's hardest to explain. Because from the outside, it looked simple. If it's not good, just leave. If it hurts, walk away. If you see it, why are you still there? But when you're inside it, it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like something else. Something you can't fully explain. Because it's not just about them anymore. It's about what happens inside you. And most people don't understand that. They think staying means weakness. But it doesn't. It means something deeper is happening. Something that keeps pulling you back. Even when your mind is telling you to go. Because by the time you realize something is wrong, you're already attached, not just emotionally, but neurologically. Your body has learned the pattern, the tension, the distance, the waiting, and most importantly, the relief. That moment when things feel okay again, when they come back, when they soften, when they give you just enough to make everything feel real again. That moment is what keeps you there, not the relationship, not the person, that feeling. Because after everything feels uncertain, that small moment of connection feels stronger than it should, more intense, more meaningful. But it's not, it's contrast. The difference between pain and relief, and your brain holds onto that. Because it feels like reward, like something you don't want to lose. So you stay, not because it's good, but because it sometimes feels good. And that sometimes is enough to keep you stuck, even when everything else tells you to leave. And that's where it gets confusing. Because if I'm honest, there were moments where I knew, not fully, not in a way I could explain, but in a quiet, uncomfortable way, that something wasn't right. I remember feeling it in small situations. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would make someone else say, "This is wrong." But I felt it in the way he would disconnect, in the way I had to adjust myself to keep things okay, in the way I started thinking twice before speaking. And even then, I didn't leave. I stayed. Because I kept telling myself it wasn't enough. Not enough to walk away. Not enough to give up on everything. And that's something people don't understand. You don't stay because it's good. You stay because it's not bad enough. At least, not in a way you can prove. So you keep going, you keep trying, you keep minimizing what you feel. Because admitting the truth would mean making a decision you're not ready to make. And I wasn't ready. So I convinced myself to stay, over and over again, even when something inside me was already starting to pull away. Because you're not blind. You see the patterns. You notice the distance. You feel the inconsistency. But at the same time, you remember the good moments, the beginning, the version of them that made you feel something real. And you keep thinking, if that was real once, it can be real again. So you wait, you adjust, you give more, you try harder. Because walking away feels like giving up on something that almost worked. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You're not staying because of what it is. You're staying because of what it could be. And that difference is what keeps you trapped. Because what it is clear. But what it could be is endless. And hope lives there, in that space where reality hasn't fully caught up yet. And hope can keep you stuck longer than anything else. Because it doesn't need proof. It just needs possibility. And you hold on to that, even when everything else is telling you to let go. But there's something else happening too, something quieter, something deeper. You're not just attached to them, you're attached to the version of yourself that existed in that relationship. The one who believed, the one who tried, the one who gave everything. Because if you walk away, you don't just lose them, you lose that version of you too. And that's hard because that version of you was real, even if the relationship wasn't. So you stay, trying to bring that version back, trying to feel what you felt in the beginning, trying to recreate something that no longer exists. And the more you try, the more you lose yourself in the process. Because now, you're not acting naturally anymore. You're adjusting, filtering, holding back, trying to keep things stable, trying not to trigger distance, trying not to lose what little connection is left. And that kind of effort, it drains you, slowly, quietly, until one day, you realize you're exhausted, not from what they did, but from everything you had to do to stay. And even then, you don't leave, because leaving feels heavier. Leaving means facing everything. The truth, the pattern, the time you invested, the things you ignored, the parts of yourself you silenced. And that's overwhelming. So you stay a little longer, just in case, just to be sure, just to see if something changes. But deep down, you already know. Nothing has really changed. The pattern is the same. The cycle repeats. The feeling in your body never fully goes away. And that's the part you keep avoiding. That feeling. Because it doesn't lie. It doesn't overthink. It doesn't create excuses. It just tells you something isn't right. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it shows up as anxiety, as exhaustion, as that constant sense that something is off, even when everything looks okay. And if you've felt that, you know exactly what that means, even if you've never said it out loud. Because deep down, you already understand something important. You're not stuck because you can't leave. You're stuck because something inside you is still holding on. Not to them, but to what they represent, what you hoped for, what you believed in, what you thought it could become. And letting go of that feels like losing something real, even when it never fully was. And that's why it's so hard. Because you're not just walking away from a person, you're walking away from a story, a future, a version of reality that only existed in your mind. And that kind of loss, it's not logical, it's emotional. And emotions don't follow logic, they follow attachment. And attachment doesn't disappear overnight. Even when you see the truth, even when you feel it, even when you know this isn't what you want anymore. Because knowing is not the same as being ready. And that's something most people don't talk about. They think awareness is enough, but it's not. Awareness is just the beginning. What comes after is the hardest part. Detaching, letting go, choosing yourself, even when it hurts, even when it feels like you're losing everything. Because in a way, you're losing the illusion, the hope, the version of the story that kept you there. And without that, there's nothing left to hold on to. Only the truth. And the truth is uncomfortable because it forces you to see things clearly, without excuses, without distortion, without maybe. And once you get to that point, you can't go back. You can delay it, you can question it, you can try to ignore it again, but it won't feel the same because now you know, and that changes everything. So if you're still there if you're still questioning why you can't leave, it's not because you're weak, it's because you're human. Because you felt something real, even if the relationship wasn't. Because you believed in something, even if it didn't become what you hoped. And because letting go takes time, more time than people admit. But here's what matters. Every time you become aware, every time you question it, every time you stop ignoring that feeling, you're already moving. Maybe not physically, maybe not visibly, but internally. Something is shifting, and that shift is what eventually leads you out. Not force, not pressure, not someone telling you what to do, but you finally seeing clearly enough to choose differently. And when that moment comes, you won't need to ask, why can't I leave? Because the question will change. And that shift, it doesn't happen all at once. It's subtle, almost invisible at first. You start noticing small things you used to ignore. The way something feels off sooner. The way you don't silence yourself as quickly. The way your body reacts before your mind tries to explain it away. And those small moments, they don't seem like much, but they add up. They create distance, not from the person, but from the version of you that kept accepting what didn't feel right. And that distance is where everything starts to change into something much more powerful. Why would I stay?